The Calgary Flames preseason kicked off last night, and just as a nice reminder that the season is rapidly approaching. And so today, going to be looking at who are the X factors for this team for the upcoming year. Also, looking at who might fall off this season for the Flames. Let's begin with the X factor. Actually, you know what? Let's start with the fall offs so we can end on a more positive note. Also, I haven't been able to watch the game from last night yet. I plan on doing that and then doing a Flames related podcast either late today or early on tomorrow. That is the plan right now, is to get some a little bit more Flames content out there, and maybe build up the Game Over channel right now. By the way, Game Over Calgary, go subscribe to that right now. Okay, so first, the fall off. I do think that Blake Coleman is a tremendous player, and he was unbelievable last year. But some of those like point totals and everything like that were just so out of nowhere that I do worry that this is going to be someone that just kind of falls off a little bit this year. And so I think that like from a production standpoint, it's not going to be the same. And I think he is the one who has a chance, who probably falls off a little bit more here this year. At 2, I have Mackenzie Weegar. Again, put up some great numbers last year, and none of this is a statement on any of these players as players. It's a little bit just more what the production was last year. He put up some great numbers, but I do worry that that may dip with some inconsistency in who his partners are and just, how math works. It's tough to put up those type of numbers again in back-to-back years. Again, he may even feel like, from just a play standpoint, that he is putting out a better product than he did last year, but the numbers may not get him there. And at 3, it's Martin Pospisil. A couple of things here. I do think that last year was oh, holy shit, who is this guy moment. Now teams are going to have a year of figuring him out and a year of, okay, let's see. So it'll be nice to see what his counterpunch is to that. But also, I do think he's going to bounce around the lineup quite a bit. He feels like the one who, like in the top 6, maybe even undeservedly, but maybe gets bumped from a top 6 spot to put someone else in, and he goes down to the 4th line. And I also think they're going to experiment with him at center a little bit more, and I don't think that means him in the 2nd line. And so again, this could be a year of real development for his talents. It's just maybe not going to look the same on the score sheet than it did a year ago. Now on to the X factors. Who are the guys who are going to like really decide the year for the Calgary Flames? At 3, I have Daniil Miramanov. He showed some flashes late last year when he came in. If he can be a real guy on the blue line, that actually helps quite a bit, because one of the things we have said all season or all off season is this team has really 2 legitimate NHL defensemen, and everyone else, like all due respect to Bean, he's a 5'6" guy or a 6'7" guy. And like I kind of view Miramanov the same way. If he can step into a more substantial role legitimately, and not just because, well, you happen to be the 3rd best guy here, but if he can legitimately be a second pairing guy, then that I think changes the shape of this Flames team actually quite a bit. And again, all of these things, like there's going to be some real, there's real chances here either way. But I will say, again, I do not think that this is going to be a team that makes the playoffs. And so even if Miramanov is awesome, I don't think that, like, we're not talking about this team being a 1 seed. We are more just talking about, like, this team showing some growth and development. On that note, at 2, it is Connor Zary. He needs to show a little bit more consistency in his game this year. If he can do that, because when it is good, it is so good. He has a real touch and a real vision out there that the old Enzo Amore thing, you can't teach that. He has some of those skills and some of those abilities that make him very, very dangerous out on the ice. Just doesn't do it all the time. And so that has led to some inconsistent play. If he can round that out and just be that guy for 82 games, then again, it changes, I think, the dynamic of this forward group. More so for the future than this year, but really, it does change things for this team. And at number 1, it's Anthony Mantha. He has always been someone who the talent has been there, and he has been a very, very exciting player. And it hasn't, like Zary, it didn't click always. And sometimes it does, even some seasons, it clicks for 82 games. But to be able to put year after year, sometimes for him, month after month, game after game, or shift after shift together, the consistency hasn't been there. And so if he can do that, it makes for some intriguing decisions around this Calgary Flames team. But also, I think his biggest thing this year is, can he get Jonathan Huberdeau? We have thrown out the idea of him being a $10.5 million player, right? We know he's probably not. Can you get him to a level that is at least acceptable? Can we get this guy to a point per game like he was flirting with at the end of last season? And if Mantha can be a guy that can get that out of Jonathan Huberdeau, A, maybe he bumps up his trade value and we help him out, or B, he's a guy who you can kind of keep around midterm, not long term, but he's a guy you can keep around for a couple of years that helps get your highest paid player to be a productive member of this NHL team. And that would be a very big thing for the Calgary Flames.